right, so today we're going to install the wood burner, and I'll kind of show you here after it's done because I'm just getting here, you know what I mean? So let me show you what it looks like here after it's done, but we're also going to run the Echo 4910. Now I got wood here, but I don't have a splitter, so we're basically going to be using the saw to split wood, making a lot of noodles and stuff, but just need to get some firewood in here so I can get a fire started, you know? So that's what we're going to do today and get this thing installed. So, hey, check it out. Well, the wood burner's installed. I've already got it kind of dirty from fixing that fire brick. Flue pipe's in. I didn't put a damper on it. Don't need one. This doesn't require a damper. I like to have them just in case you want to shut the airflow down, you know? But what do you say? We get out here, get some wood, and get this thing fired up. Everything you see here is pretty much temporary until I can get a really nice something built. So this is completely temporary. I put a steel plate down and then I laid those pavers on top of it. So that's what I'm using for on the floor. It's just like the steel plate runs probably all but like 3 inches around. It's just like a piece of sheet metal, really. But then I got the pavers on top of it. Technically, that should be 4 inches thick or more, but I'm gonna run with it. And I'm gonna go get some wood and get this thing fired up for the first time. Now, we're gonna have to do a few things, and let me talk to you about what we're about to do. Well, a little update on the four-wheeler. I think the kids are gonna be happy. I think they're gonna be quite happy. Now they just gotta learn how to ride it. Just gotta put air in the tire, and I think she's gonna be ready to go. little Echo 4910 that Briscoe built for me. She's a spicy one. I kind of wanted to put this video together to show how this saw has progressed since I've had it. She's just a hair on the lean side right now. You know, the colder weather made it go a little lean. So, you know, she's just a hair lean, but she's still running pretty dang good if you ask me. I got enough wood here cut to get me through the night. I'll do this again tomorrow to get me through tomorrow night. But, you know, I think we'll call that for today. Now, part of me wanted to put this video together because, you know, I've seen on some pages out there and stuff that Briscoe builds slow saws. You know, it's a large blowdown build, and you know, a big blowdown, and or should you say long blowdown. So it's a long blowdown build, and you know, a lot of guys say that they don't produce power. You know, I like long blowdown on some situations. Some saws like it, some don't. This one likes a longer blowdown, you know. It just depends on how you build it and how you run your numbers and everything. I can tell you, just part of it depends. Like don't adjust your blowdown if you're not machining it. So, you know, you can end up wreaking havoc. Just do your blowdown adjustments if you're machining it. Don't do it if you're not machining it. You won't like the results. Now, some folks do a lot of machine work, which means they will do a lot of work on, you know, the upper transfers and, you know, get that blowdown number up where they want it. But sometimes it's confusing watching the videos because you don't understand how much they lowered the transfer before they started raising it, you know. So some of those details I wish would be explained a little more on some videos out there. But, you know, it's just a process, you know. Just pay attention to some of that stuff because, you know, are they raising the blowdown above, or are they raising the upper above what the factory setting was before it was machined? You know what I mean? Because machine would lower the transfer, but are they raising it to the point where it was at factory and beyond? Or are they still lowering it some from where the factory position was? Or are they just basically taking it back to where it was at factory? You know, those are the details I wish would be explained a little more. But I think we all kind of got an understanding. Now I've seen on, you know, a forum or whatever, some people saying that Briscoe's saws are slow. And, you know, I think it's a matter of opinion, if you ask me. He doesn't build super high-speed saws always. He has the capability to do it. I mean, look at his 461. That thing is a screaming monster, you know. He can do it, but sometimes he chooses not to. And sometimes having that self-restraint to choose to build a saw a certain way is, you know, part of life. Like look at the Iron Horse. I'm sure he has the capabilities to build a much hotter saw than what he does usually. You know, he builds, you know, firewood saws or logging saws or whatever. And I can tell you, if I was doing saws for people, like in a production situation or anything like that, every time a saw would come back to me that was burned up, it would probably irritate me. And I would probably build the next one not as hot. And if it happens again, then I build the next one not as hot. And eventually I end up building saws that just, you know, they're just a good general performing saw, you know what I mean? They may not perform a whole lot better than a stock saw, but, you know, they might just perform a little bit better than a stock saw, even though I had the capabilities of making something a lot hotter. You know, you kind of get where I'm kind of get where I'm going there. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should, you know? And then are you building them for customers that, you know, and you know are going to treat them well? Or are you building for customers that you have no idea who they are? You don't know if they're going to mistreat the saw or anything. That's one of the reasons I don't get into it. I don't want the headache, you know what I mean? Then, you know, what if the guy takes it out, runs it with a dull chain? You know, you build him a nice hot saw, he takes it out in the woods, hits a rock, goes dull, and just keeps running it. Burns the saw up and blames you. You know, he's only had the saw for 3 days. Burns it up and blames you. You know what I mean? There's things like that you got to consider with watching how some guys build saws, who's been building them professionally and all that stuff. Some guys will build them hotter, some guys won't. Most builders will go for the most amount of performance with the least amount of work. I'd say that's probably the most common method of folks building saws. And, you know, that's probably the way I would do it if I was looking to do it professionally, to be honest. You know, there's a few mods you can do to get great big gains, and then there's a few mods that get you small gains. And when you start stacking them up, your gains are even bigger and bigger. Like this Echo here I just ran. You know, most saws built like this, you know, he did a lot of the little tiny things to make it even hotter. Because this one's got a little bit more work than what you normally see out of his 4910s. He's done just a little bit more work to this one. I think there's only 2 out there that he's built like this to make it a bit hotter. That's why I make this one, you know, kind of my, it's going to be my 50cc, you know, racing saw or whatever. She's pretty fast, especially if you start sticking that thing in soft woods and, you know, really aggressive chains and all that stuff. It's an animal. But you gotta keep consideration. There's many ways to build a saw, and sometimes you want to be careful about being judgmental or something, I guess. You know, I know there's a lot of folks out there that don't like me and don't like my opinions and stuff, and you know, there's a lot of people out there that don't like this person's opinions and stuff, and how about we just work together here? You know, I've seen too many negative things come from this YouTube thing. It's like a competition, I guess you could say, and it's getting old. I'll tell you, it's getting real old. It's like, who can build the best saw? Who cares, really? Who can build a good saw? Who can build one that can run 10-hour days on a 100-degree day and last for years? You know, that's not a hot saw build, I'll tell you right now. It'll never happen. So, you know, keep it in mind. You know, you're building a production saw that you want to last, and that heat and stuff, you may not want it to be a super high performing thing. You just might want to do some modifications to it to help it run cool, you know? So just keep that in mind. There's so many ways to do things, and just because, you know, one guy can build a hot saw and doesn't mean that every saw has to be hot. You know, there'll be differences. But hey, it's cold out here. It's in single-digit temperatures, and I'm standing here chatting at my phone. Talk about a crazy guy. How about I go in here, get a fire started, and I'll check you out and I'll see you on the next one. Later.